The head of the sect said calmly, "It's too early to say these things now. Let's see if she can reach the top of the mountain within the specified time." The head of Dan Feng shook his head. "She cried like this just because she climbed a mountain. Her character is too bad." The head of Fu Feng said, "Not entirely. You see, she kept crying but didn't give up. It can be seen that she is determined. Look at her clothes. She must be born in a rich family and has never suffered. She is young. It is rare for her to be able to do this. I just don't know how her spiritual roots are." There was some excitement in the words. If her spiritual roots are good, she can be accepted as a disciple. She is not an important person. After a few words, several peak masters shut up and observed the performance of the people on the mountain road. Xie Sisi didn't know that she was being watched. At this moment, her eyes were straight and her calves were spinning. She felt that the road ahead was long and there was no end in sight. Or, "Sit down, let's take a break." It's okay to take a break. It won't delay the climb again. Didn't you see that some people around have already sat down to rest? I'm still a child now. Children can rest. The immortals are kind and compassionate. They will definitely not hold it against me just because I rest for a while. Let's take a break. I'm so tired. Let's take a break and sing a song. On the mountain path, people sat down one after another. The idea of taking a break became stronger and stronger in my mind. My legs seemed to be hung with a 1,000-pound weight. Every time I lift a step, I have to use up all my strength. It's really too tiring. Let's take a break. Xie Sisi was in a trance. As she was thinking, she suddenly stumbled and almost fell. Her chaotic mind suddenly became clear. Looking around, she realized that those people who were sitting on the mountain trail to rest had closed their eyes and fell into a deep sleep. When they were climbing the mountain, the gatekeeper said that they had to climb to the top of the mountain before the sun set to pass the test. If she really sat down to rest, she would definitely miss the time when she woke up. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. She knew her own temperament. As an orphan, she had a tough temperament since she was a child. She had encountered all kinds of hardships and difficulties, but she never thought of giving up. Why did she just now? Why would she be so obsessed with resting? It seems that this is also a test from Tianyi sect. Shaking her head to make herself more sober, Xie Sisi gritted her teeth and continued to climb up. This time, without the distraction of those thoughts that stretched her rest, it was much easier to climb up. Although it was still difficult, at least she finally climbed to the top of the mountain before sunset. In addition to her, hundreds of people had gathered on the top of the mountain, including the heroine Yan Rushue. Seeing her climb up, Yan Rushue's eyes flashed with surprise, and hurriedly stepped out of the crowd to help her. With a guilty look on her face, she said, "Sisi, how are you? After I came up, I wanted to ask someone to pick you up, but the immortal on the mountain said that the mountain climbing road is a test for the person, and he can't help. I'm sorry." The man who was chatting and laughing with Yan Rushue just now heard this, and immediately looked at Xie Sisi with dissatisfaction and said, "This is what's wrong with you, little girl. How can you ask others for help in the test? If everyone is like you, what fairness can we talk about? Rushue, you don't have to say sorry to her. She was wrong in this matter." Well, before anything happened, she was accused of wanting to find someone to help cheat. Xie Sisi was tired like a dead dog at this moment, just wanting to find a place to have a good rest. Really too lazy to pay attention to Yan Rushue's tea talk. Rubbing her eyes and crying, she said, "I know that what you said before was just coaxing people, saying that you wanted to take care of me, coaxing my parents to bring you to participate in the sect test, but you left me behind as soon as you got on the mountain road. Before entering the mountain, you called me miss, and when you reached the top of the mountain, you called me by my name. I know what you mean. Now you have made up, and you are no longer the maid who served me since childhood. I will return the indenture to you later. It's just that I'm very tired now. Please let me sit down and rest." As she spoke, she broke away from Yan Rushue's hand, puffed up her cheeks, crawled to the side with tears in her eyes, and looked like a pitiful little girl who was bullied. Yan Rushue didn't expect that the silly lady would say such a thing. Her face turned red and she explained helplessly, "No, I'm not. But she is just a 10-year-old girl now. Although she has some scheming, her mind is not strong enough." Suddenly, Xie Sisi turned the tables on her and she was immediately confused. She said no for a long time, but she couldn't explain it. She just felt that the people around her looked at her with contempt. She couldn't help crying. The man who had just spoken for Yan Wushua, after hearing what Xie Sisi said, subconsciously felt that Yan Wushua was not right. Seeing Yan Wushua crying, that suspicion was immediately thrown out of the window. He comforted her, "You did nothing wrong. Entering the mountain gate to cultivate immortality means cutting off the past ties. All the things in the mortal world are in the past. So naturally you don't need to call her miss anymore. It's the fault of some people who don't know their identities. They are cultivating immortality, but they still want to play the master-servant game. From now on, there will be no masters and servants on this mountain, only brothers and sisters." Yan Wushua looked at him with tears in her eyes. "Are you telling the truth?" The man straightened his chest. "Of course it's true. I am from the Xu family of Jiangzhou. You know the Xu family of Jiangzhou. My ancestors were all cultivators." Yan Wushua looked at him with admiration, and the man talked more and more. Xie Sisi rolled her eyes. No wonder he helped Yan Wushua right from the start. It turned out that he was one of Yan Wushua's lickers in the book. It was a pity that Su Bangchue of the Xu family in Jiangzhou was a licker, and he licked until he had nothing. This stupid brother didn't end up well in the end. The leader of Xin Peak looked at the leader of Shou Peak. If I remember correctly, this Su family seems to be a subsidiary family of your Shou Peak, right? The leader of Shou Peak had a gloomy face and warned him, "If you have something to say, just say it. If you have something to say, just fart." The two of them have always been a little at odds. There is no big grudge, but there are constant small frictions. They have to say a few words to each other when they meet. It is rare to see the jokes of the leader of Shou Peak at this time, so the leader of Xin Peak will naturally not let it go. He laughed. Such a simple and straightforward personality is in line with your usual style of Shou Peak. And it is also a continuation of the same lineage. To put it nicely, it is simple and straightforward. To put it bluntly, it is stupid. Such a big man, being led by a 10-year-old girl to lead the prince, has no ability to distinguish right from wrong. Although the master-servant relationship is not important in the sect, it is a fact that the other party took advantage of the master and betrayed the master. Such a person is not up to standard in terms of character. If you meet her, you should stay away from her, otherwise who knows when she will stab you in the back. The head of the Beast Peak was so angry that smoke came out of his head, but he couldn't do anything about the head of the Array Peak, so he had to transfer his anger to Su Bangchu. Originally, he wanted to accept him as a personal disciple for the sake of the Su family's many years of contribution, but now it seems that he should be an inner disciple, so as not to lower the level of his personal disciple. Xie Sisi didn't know that because of this episode, Su Bangchu's original identity as a personal disciple in the book was gone. She was drowsy at the moment and just wanted to play badly. Anyway, after climbing the mountain and passing the test, she can enter Tianyi sect. If there were no accidents, she would be destined to be an outer disciple. What else is there to show? Just lie down. Facts have proved that when you think there will be no accidents, accidents often come. Looking at the handsome middle-aged uncle on the high platform with a dignified and fairy-like appearance, Xie Sisi looked dazed and suspected that she had heard it wrong.